Good evening, everyone, and I am back again. I had someone ask me how do I cut people out and match them into my banner designs. So I figured I'd give you guys a quick rundown from start to finish. This one here, she is one of the track members, and I have to actually make her banner. So I figured this would be a great time to do it. First thing I do is I always zoom in, bloom. Take a look. Skin looks a little bit on the white side. I usually go like daylight. So about there. Okay. That looks good. Exposure's fine. I like to do a little bit of sharpening to about 60. That's pretty much in every image. Go to about 15 for noise. Then I go into the oranges here, and I could up the oranges, but in her case, I'm going to bring them down slightly to about 8. Because she looks a little bit on the pale side. Reds I could bring down just slightly too, just to make that jacket pop. Just a little bit. There, about there. Okay. And I'll go into my dehaze, and I'll always lower that to about 5 to 8. And my vignette don't need to worry about because we're going to cut her out. So we're going to go ahead and open up this image. That was the last guy that we did from the last shoot. Alright, so here she is. Alright, first thing I do is I'm going to zoom in here, and I always clean up the blemishes, and using the spot healing brush, I actually just come in here and take out those small pesky little buggers that keep popping up on young people's faces. It happens. And again, I always go from top down, and that's only because it matches the lighting fall. Or if it's like a shadow, I'll go kind of kinked sideways. But for the most part, I just come in and just take out these. And because she's a girl, I actually will use the portraiture on her once I'm done. Same as what I do with pretty much all my seniors. And you can see how this just cleans it right up. I will be making a video later about my frequency separation for my high fashion. And I know you guys want that because I've already had several requests on how to do it. So you can look forward to that soon. But you can see I come down and I just check little spots, because everybody has them. And let's zoom out here. Alright, we'll come down here, look at the hands. Hands look fine. Alright. And that should be good. Okay. So now the next thing I'm doing is I just run my portraiture. And again, I run portraiture and then I bring it back 75%. Okay. First thing I do is I take my little dropper, pick somewhere between dark and light, so about right here, and then I'll add light and dark. Just kind of throw colors that is in the image. Can even come down here if I want to take care of the legs a little bit, but the legs are going to get cut off, so we ain't really worried about it. So once that's done, I'll show you the zoom up here. Okay, there's before, there's after, so as it's finished. There we go. So before, after, you can see the difference. Pretty nice. I hit OK. Now it's going to fix it. And once that's done, I'm going to show you what I do with Topaz Remask. So I come up here, background, lower it to 70. That gives it more skin texture so it doesn't look like it's been messed with. Flatten the image. Alright, now I'll go to filter, and then I'll go to Topaz and Remask, and this is the coolest program for doing cutouts. And you'll see how quick it is. It's really not a hard program at all. I use it a lot. The first one is the blue color. Blue color is what is going to compute the edge. Okay, so what I do is I zoom in just because I want to get a pretty decent edge on it, and I will stop. All right, so I'll increase my brush, and you can just go in here and you just paint around their head. Okay, like I want all these hairs, so it's gonna pull everything it sees. Alright, just roll right down the edge here. Alright, let's go this way. Again, just grab some of that, pull some of this. Now because there's green, I'm going to show you what you have to do in that separation. But the purple is what the computer is going to calculate for what it needs for an edge. And it doesn't have to be, you can actually lower your brush if you want to get a really quick edge. Oops, went a little bit too far. If you mess up like I just did, and as you can see, I'm not being perfect. I mean, it's really not. It's not gonna be perfect because it's pretty quick and easy. So we wrap around here, a little bit there, over here. Alright, now we just finish this off. Alright, and now you take your red drop, and that's a fill bucket. So you just fill in what you don't want. Everything else stays green, so that's what I'm keeping. So all you do now is you hit compute mask, and the computer will literally compute it all for you and then bring it back to you in a masked look. You can see the hair wisp. Oops. You can see the hair wisp, how it's pulling each individual hair. I like to turn it this way so I can actually see what came out, which this looks really good actually. I'd like to look closer at the edges of their jacket just to make sure that it all came out, which in this case it did. And I just pulled the what I want to keep brush, so now I can scroll down and I can look, everything's there. Oop, got a little bit missing here, so we'll just hit that. See how everything just came back? I mean, it's amazing how easy. Now black is where you kind of have issues, but as long as you click with your brush, I'm just clicking one time and it brings back whatever colors that I'm touching at that moment. So you can see how it put a little spew out there. I'm going to fix that in a second. Lower my brush here so I can get in this corner. And boom, there we go. Alright, same thing here. I just kind of, you can drag and it'll take a bunch of pictures at the same time. And I'll just increase it a little bit so now I can pull in her leg. Alright. Yeah, none of this is going to show, so that's why I'm not really worried about this part either. This little piece isn't really going to show because it's going to cut right about here. So I'm going to take some of that off. So I'm going to come over here with the red, and I'm just going to chop. Bloop. There we go. Let me go back over here. I'm going to take out the magic brush. Magic brush just makes it to where it actually comes up, but I'm going to actually come in without the magic brush. And I'm going to draw right on that edge. Right. So like that. This is a little bit of tedious, but it really is much better. Alright, that's good, that's good. All that's good. Okay, our hair whisper there. The gray's fine because that kind of subdues it anyway. So that looks good to me, so I'm gonna hit OK. And now what it does is it gives me a second copy. So now what I do is I just take this copy. Alright, I go into my banner, I make sure I'm on the layer with little guy on it. Alright, and I am. Now I go back over here, grab her. Whoops. For some reason my computer's playing with me here. Alright, so we'll go over here, drop it in here. Boop. You can see where the last guy's outline was, so I'll have to fix that. And as soon as she drops, she's a big file, so it's going to take just a second. Come on. We're having technical difficulties. Okay, so now she's in here. We'll grab her. Where you at? Alright, so you grab her. Command T for transform. Now I'm going to go hold the Alt key and the Shift key. I'm going to bring her up to about where I need her, which would be about right there. Alright. I'm going to center her here. About right there. There we go. Alright, hit the Enter key and it'll actually retransform her. And now this background here, over here is where I have the glow. And I'm just going to take the mask and I'm going to take it off of her using black. Alright, we're going to increase and just take it off of her. Alright, and yep, that looks about right. Alright, now I do want to give a slight glow on this side for the yellow. And what I do is I've already have the yellow here, and I just really get really close. Like you can see where I've already colored or masked it. So I'm going to lower my brush a little bit, and I'm actually going to just paint it in just right on the edge. And what that does is it puts this little hint of yellow glow right on the edge, which is what I like. And what that does is it gives it that look like she's really there. This is from the last guy, so I'm just coloring it back in. But it's just a hint of yellow going up her shoulder. Okay, because this is where light's coming from, and it's shining onto her jacket just slightly. And then once I have that, and you can see there's just a slight yellow that's on the edge of her hair. On this side, it's the gray. Remember, the gray that was in here is now gone. I mean, it's faded in. The lights from here are shining on her back, which is giving this little rim light. And I shoot it where I have a white light here, because the yellow I was going to add in. So I shot with the backlight coming from 45 degrees behind her to get this rim light, and then another light was over here to get kind of back here, and then I use the overlay of the glow to go right on top of the jacket to give it that, like she's really standing on a track. Alright, and then all I do is I fix the name, which is really simple. And where did my mouse go? Alright, so her last name is okay, and to take text to make sure they stay the same height, I hold the Alt key and I just pull it across, and that stretches my letters to the sizes I need. There we go. And one more. All right. And that is it. Now what I do is I will actually uh, make it into a flatten. So I do Command or Control Alt Shift E. Mac is Command Alt Shift E, and on Windows I believe it's Control Alt Shift E, and it flattens the image and makes it into a separate layer. So now everything that's on here is now going to become a separate layer by itself. Now I found that it's faster and easier on your computer, so it's not using resources. You hold down the Alt button and you click this little eyeball, and it turns off everything below it. And now you just left this one layer. So now when I go up here and I hit File, Export, Export to JPEG, it's a lot faster. That's one way I found is a ton faster. And let me just put Serenity. Okay, and it's a ton faster. And then once you get done saving it, I hold the Alt key, hit the eyeball again, and it turns them all back on. And then I just delete that layer. And that's how I do all of my crazy banners for the high school seniors. Any questions? Let me know, and I can try to help you out. But as you can see, I have a ton of layers here. Everything has its own purpose. Starting from, I'll show you. There's the original track shot. Okay, this is. Well, I might as well just go from the beginning. Track shot. If you look at I added some light coming across the track. Then here, I'm increasing that to a reddish color. Then I darken the track so it's not so bright, because remember, the brightest thing in your image is usually what your eyes are going to go to. So I took that down. Then I added a little brown tint to it. In other words, brown tinted the kind of got a nice color correction. The upper sky. Then I went to lower track. I added a nice little glow to it, so it just has this evenness, like as if the sun's really coming out of there. And then the grandstand shadow, if you see it. Okay. Did another grandstand shadow on the left side, if you can see it blinking. Yep. Alright, and then I did a gradient map, which darkened everything down. Then I just added the sun. Yay! Some clouds. If I wanted blue clouds, I could do that. I don't use those. I like the gray, gloomy ones. It just makes more dramatic. I added in the curves, so you can see how it just kind of darkened, took out some of that haze, right? Added the lights. So each one of those is just a speck, and I raised them out. Small lights that are in between. Some more lights that are kind of in the background. You kind of can't really see it with the sun there. Then, of course, their last name. The person, which in this case is her. The layer, I took out, made the black on the bottom. Then I added in the logo, put in some ray lights, some flares. I changed the flare colors, which they're already yellow, but I could actually, with my hue saturation, what I do is I make my flare at the bottom, and then I add a hue saturation, so now I can reuse this anytime I want. I can just go in this hue slider and just change it and get different colors. You know, if I want it blue, purple, or pink, red, yellow, green, blue, I could go the whole spectrum. Alright, and that's the reason why I have this. Theirs is red and gold, so I kind of keep those. Okay, there's the lines. Okay, this is the overlay that goes over her jacket right here. If you look, uh, that's that overlay. So it kind of makes it a little bit brighter. Boom, and then it looks to me it looks more real. The photo filter, I do this, so now everything looks the same. If you look, now she's YA, she just looks like she's not part of this scene, right? So what I did was I just added a photo filter, and you can see how she now blends in with the rest of the image. All right. And then of course I had the high school, and I had the Smith vector of my logo. There's my website, and then there's the event, and then I had their title, the Spartans. Um, I doubled it because I didn't think one was good enough, so I added a second one, and it came out awesome. The again, I did the copy on that, so it looked cool. Layer one, I don't think that's anything. I think it was just extra layers that I accidentally put in there. And then first name, and that's the entire way to build up from bottom up on a poster. This is just one of my many banners that I've created, and I hope you enjoy that. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. Uh, Again, this is Koenig Geophotography, and I'm out. See ya.